Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie, and it looks like some higher quality first looks at Doctor Doom and the Avengers Doomsday characters have made it online, and we've learned about a couple of major storylines that the Russos have deleted from early versions of the movie. They've already finished principal photography a while ago, and they've been doing smaller reshoots since then, extensive reshoots technically, and changing storylines, removing things. I wouldn't be surprised if their original cut of the movie was over 4 hours long. Both Infinity War and Endgame were that long before they started editing things down and removing a lot of scenes. Even though we would all love to watch like a 4, 6, 8 hour version of Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, you don't need to delete all that stuff, Marvel, just release it on the Blu-ray. I know there's still a ton of questions about what's actually going on in the movie because Marvel and the Russos have been so cryptic, and because of the edits they're making, the movie's story seems like it's changing quite a bit day to day through the edit process. As chaotic as that sounds, that's actually pretty normal for Marvel, the way they film their movies going back to Marvel Phase 1 back in the day. This is the new higher quality version of that potato quality Avengers X-Men scene where they team up against Doctor Doom on the X-Men's world with the Fantastic Four. There were a lot of people that seemed like they ran the low quality footage through AI to upscale it so that it wasn't potato quality anymore. I'm trying to avoid a lot of that stuff because when you do stuff like that, it changes way too many details from the original scene, especially like smaller fine details, and you can very clearly tell that it's AI, and it winds up looking very different from the actual final scene. So if it looks bad, people will think the movie looks bad even though it's AI and it changed so much that it's not what's actually in the movie. So it becomes way harder to verify what's real and what's just some fan making something they thought was cool based on the description of what's actually going on in the movie. I believe the potato quality of the scene is real, and a few of the higher quality versions are real, but most of the rest of it is just AI upscaled versions of that original leak. The reason why this Doctor Doom scene seems like it's real is because he looks exactly like he does in the promo art that was confirmed to be real in his actual look in the movie that we saw previously a couple different times in a couple different sources in different types of promos. This is also basically what he looks like in all the merch that's actually made it out from the movie, which is real merch. All the Avengers and X-Men's suits and costumes, the Fantastic Four costumes, are similar to the concept art in the promos that they shot from last year that also leaked out.
Someone cooked here.
Now that the scene has leaked out, I do wonder if the Russos are going to leave this version of it in the movie, if they're going to change it significantly, if they are cutting out so many side stories and subplots. More on that in a second too, the subplots that we've learned about that they've cut out. But the scene of them aping that wraparound 360 shot from the first Avengers movie, the X-Men, the New Avengers, the Fantastic Four fighting Doctor Doom, feels like it's too big of a moment for them to completely get rid of it. It would be like the Russos trying to get rid of the whole Titan battle from Avengers Infinity War. Like there are too many characters in there for them to completely get rid of that scene, but they could change it quite a bit in the edit with visual effects. Even funnier, that original shot that they're aping in the new movie with the wraparound of all the Avengers characters was something that they thought of after they filmed the first Avengers movie, which is why they had to do it in post-production, because they thought of it later after they were putting the movie together. Just another really good example of Marvel kind of making things up as they go along, trying to make things better as they go along. I believe on the day when they first filmed that 360 wraparound shot, only a couple of the actors were there. The rest were all stand-ins that they added in later with reshoots and visual effects, especially like the Iron Man shot, because a lot of that was a visual effect. The Hulk was a visual effect. So that is kind of the way they're doing Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. So when you actually watch them cook the dinner, when you actually watch them make these movies, it seems way more chaotic, and it wouldn't make sense if you actually had never seen like a big studio movie be made. All the big Marvel movies are made this way for the most part, with a couple of exceptions. One of the reasons why Spider-Man Brand New Day looks so much better than most Marvel movies and most previous MCU Spider-Man movies is because of the way they filmed it, way more practical, like it's a physical suit that he's walking around in now. There's going to be a ton of visual effects on Spider-Man Brand New Day, but just the fact that they filmed it in a much more practical way makes it feel more real, which is why it looks so much better. Hopefully they can do this with a lot of the other big Marvel movies going forward, but the Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars are so big, and they're filming so much of them on sets with so many visual effects. Just do not be surprised if you can actually see a lot of the seams with the visual effects, but hopefully them taking the extra time, the extra 6 months to polish things will help with a lot of that. But this is one of the reasons when you go back and you watch Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and you see these big scenes with all the characters together, you can definitely tell that not all the actors were there on the same day.
understood that reference.
But the good news is it does seem like they are going to release a big Avengers Doomsday trailer at Comic-Con this summer, which will be around the time Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out in theaters. So we will see if any of the leaked stuff makes it into that trailer. Like the wraparound shot would actually make for a great ending to that trailer, but I don't know if they want to completely tip their hand that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is trying to stomp all the other teams in the very first trailer. The way they're pitching this movie, it's a little bit different from when we got Infinity War. Like, you knew that Thanos was the villain coming into Infinity War, so it didn't really matter the way they cut the trailers. But the way they're playing things with Avengers Doomsday, it's a little bit more like Captain America Civil War, where they want you to be able to root for both sides, at least at the beginning of the movie. Speaking of the Russos cutting a bunch of subplots and side stories out of the movies with lesser characters, there was a report recently that they've also cut a ton of stuff through editing, and the first big subplot is the New Avengers Thunderbolts character's ongoing fight with Sam Wilson's New Avengers. So remember, this was a big deal during the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. The Russo brothers actually filmed that scene with the actors on the set of Avengers Doomsday, and then they just added it to the Thunderbolts movie. The Thunderbolts director, Jake Schreier, who's actually working on that new X-Men movie, had nothing to do with that scene. Like, it wasn't part of the original movie when they wrote the movie. So originally, it was the Russos who were setting up this big fight between the New Avengers Thunderbolts characters and Sam Wilson's New Avengers characters, and they were just going to pay that off during Doomsday. During the scene, the Thunderbolts characters complain about Sam Wilson suing them for trying to use the name, the Avengers, claiming that he, Sam Wilson, has the copyright for it because he's trying to bring together some of the classic original 6 Avengers that are still alive, like Hulk and Thor, and put new Avengers on the team. It sounds like what happened is that the movie was like over 4-5 hours long, and the Russos just needed to start cutting things down because they want to focus the movie on Doctor Doom's storyline primarily. And so anything else that's not in service of that in like a really critical way is on the chopping block. In the Cinemacon trailer that we all saw, the 616 MCU characters and teams are all meeting in the new Avengers Tower earlier in the movie, and they all start bickering, fighting with each other, and Thor cracks the whip metaphorically, tells them to stop, put aside their differences, and gives them this rousing call to action that everyone work together, and if they return from this fight with the X-Men's world, they will return as brothers and sisters, and it's meant to be a comp to the original 6 Avengers fighting earlier in that movie, but becoming a family by the end of the first Avengers movie. Pretty much the same vibes there. Based on the new report, it sounds like the Thunderbolts versus Sam Wilson subplot is just quickly dealt with, and they resolve their differences at the new Avengers Tower before they head to the X-Men's world, and that's the end of the matter, water under the bridge. So it's kind of like a post-credit scene moment from the Thunderbolts movie that winds up going nowhere, like it's not really addressed in a huge way. Pretty standard fare for Marvel to have a whole bunch of post-credit scenes in Marvel Phase 4, Phase 5, and now Phase 6 that don't really lead to a whole lot or get big payoffs. In the Cinemacon trailer, after Thor gives his speech, the skies turn red, the incursion starts, and the X-Men's world comes into proximity with the MCU, so Thor's able to open the Bifrost between the planets, and they start their big battle on the planet that you see in the official X-Men Avengers Doomsday trailer with Cyclops firing his beam into the sky. I think that's happening during the Sentinel fight that you see in the leaked potato quality footage, so that's all connected to that. Like, all the different teams fight, then Doctor Doom reveals his hand as the actual antagonist, and he tries to kill all of them by reanimating the Sentinels. One of the other major cut storylines and subplots is also for Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau, paying off the post-credit scene from the Marvels movie. I believe that Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau are still in the movie, but their roles have just been reduced greatly, like they're a much smaller part of the actual film. Originally, it was a much bigger storyline with Captain Marvel searching for Monica Rambeau and trying to save her from the X-Men's universe. Even though she's not referenced in any of the leaked footage or the official X-Men Avengers Doomsday trailer, she is on that world, like that's the place where she got stuck. Apparently the Russos also just thought that that subplot was too extra and they'll just resolve it way quicker in the actual movie. It kind of sounds like they're just tightening the movie to focus all the energy in the X-Men universe on the X-Men themselves and Doctor Doom, outside of like this big action set piece that they all fight and have the teams against Doctor Doom. I would not be surprised if we hear more about side stories and scenes that they cut out of the movie through the rest of the year, just because they're going to continue to tune the movie and edit through the rest of the year with all the reshoots. So don't be surprised if you see leaks from the movie, and even if they are real, they still don't wind up in the final theatrical version of the movie, because the movie itself feels like it's changing on a day-to-day basis.
We can't beat it. We can't stand on the shoulders of these giants of Infinity War and Endgame. So we're literally zeroing out the board, and we're going to try to earn your trust and respect all over again. And with the likes of these fellas, I think we got a pretty good shot.
This was a really big thing during Infinity War and Endgame, too. If you saw the behind the scenes from that, there was a big scene of Iron Man being Sorcerer Supreme and Doctor Strange wearing his Iron Man armor, becoming the Iron Mage. The Professor Hulk scene from Endgame, they even added that one back in with previs temporary effects for the re-release of the movie in theaters. Like they put the potato quality Professor Hulk footage back in the re-release of Endgame, which was kind of funny. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below and let me know if you spotted any Easter eggs or references in the footage or any of the leaks that I didn't talk about in this video or you have questions about. While I was making this video, there's been even more brand new Spider-Man Brand New Day footage. There's a couple more videos I'm working on. One of those should post later tonight, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Also a reminder that House of the Dragon Season 3 episodes start tomorrow, so I will be doing weekly episode videos for that. Those will all post on Sunday nights. Everybody click here for my larger Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer video and Easter eggs, and click here for all my videos on the big Avengers X-Men scenes. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.